So our next set of panelists or speakers each of you in your seats had a report, an executive summary of an evaluation, and we heard many references. We heard Alicia Garza mentioned it, we heard Dr. Buck mention it, we heard April Ryan mention it, data. So needing data to back up what it is that we're trying to do. So we can not only dream, but we have tangible evidence to move that dream forward and make it a reality. And so we are going to invite up members of the Jumuiya Research Institute, as well as HR&A advisors as a part of the Dreamkeeper Initiative. It was a commitment and a priority for us to invest in researchers that could tell our own stories. We were tired of reading studies and being studied by people who would extract information and then use it for whatever they used it for. But the Jumuiya Research Institute is an intentional effort to have our stories told for us, by us, and with us. And so they are going to come to share a little bit about decolonizing research and how they engage in an evaluation process through an Africological lens. And so those speakers, as they come up, will be Dr. Patricia Nunley, Dr. Bernadine Luckey. We have from the HR&A team, Jose Serrano-McClain, Sarah Solon, and Derrick Fleming. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here with us this afternoon. In the tradition of Africa and African history, I would like to give permission to our HR&A advisors to present.
Hi. So good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Solon, and I'm from HR&A Advisors. We're a mission-driven, employee-owned public policy consulting firm, and it is such an honor to be in this powerful room today. We have had I'm just feeling overwhelmingly grateful because for the last year, HRC has invited us in to really listen and learn. We have been asked to help tell the story of the incredible power, joy, creativity, and resilience that is in this room, the community that has helped to shape what the Dreamkeeper Initiative is, and the people who are in charge of implementing this work. So the city employees and the Black-led and Black-serving organizations who are on the ground every day making sure that Dreamkeeper dollars are doing good in our communities. We have been so grateful to be guided in this process by Drs. Nunley and Luckey, who are here today from the Jumuiya Research Institute. And so, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we are going to speak as little as possible and really reserve this stage and this space for the women who've been guiding this work. But we wanted to go through a little bit of what we've found in our impact evaluation. So our process has been grounded in a methodology. So we have aggregated narratives and impact reports from the 8 city departments that are responsible for implementing DKI. We have surveyed and interviewed 40 city employees who are implementing DKI programs. We have surveyed 50 of the 85 Black-led and Black-serving organizations who are implementing DKI programs. And the Jumuiya Research Institute led a series of focus groups with these organizations. 34 organizations participated in the focus groups, and then a series of focus groups with community and over 70 community members who are the intended beneficiaries of DKI services participated. And so we have, I guess, our overarching finding is that this investigation really affirmed that Black joy, creativity, invention, and community persist in San Francisco, and that they are supported by the Dreamkeeper Initiative. And that San Francisco's city government is making progress in incubating a new model for local government action, partnership, and accountability that we think can become a replicable blueprint for anti-racist local government that really centers the needs and the dreams of people who have been marginalized by government. So we looked at the intersection of community impact and government change. This will come as no surprise, but within 2 years of implementing DKI, we have not solved racism in San Francisco. Right? But we wanted to look at 3 research questions. So the first is, has DKI remained accountable to the community that shaped it and fought for it and informed what it looks like? The second is trust. How effectively are city departments beginning to shift how the city trusts communities to actually shape programs and spend money that address their needs? And is the city government taking intentional steps to start to repair trust between government and the communities that it has harmed? And the third is, how bold is this investment? Is it really bold enough to address the scope and severity of structural racism? So those were the questions that motivated us, and I'd love to turn to my colleagues to start to walk through our findings.
Thank you, Sarah. So I'm going to walk through some of the data that we've been talking about. Everyone's been acknowledging as so important and central to how we measure this incredible work that's been transpiring through the Dreamkeeper Initiative here in San Francisco. So I'm going to walk through very sort of numerical, specific data that will give you measured impact in terms of what's been transpiring thus far. Such a great way. When we talk to the leaders in the organizations through our survey process, the Black-led, Black-serving institutions that have been responsible for administering the DKI program, over 90% of them agreed that the services that are coming through DKI would not have been available had it not been for the structure in the organization of what DKI's mission is. And we also found that over 100% of those Black-led, Black-serving organizations agreed that if not for the services that DKI has administered, that Black San Franciscans would have a severe unmet need in terms of the services that are being called for, that are really, really necessary for the thriving of diverse Black populations in San Francisco. So the different structures and pillars that we looked at, that we focused on by way of measuring that impact, came through specific lenses that we in which we studied. They're outlined as art and culture, the Brighter Future program, economic mobility, health and wellness, mini grants, and home ownership. These were the specific areas that we looked at in order to really drill down into how impact was happening throughout the DKI programming. So regarding arts and culture specifically, the Dreamkeeper Initiative really, I mean, it's clear how the program was expanded because of DKI's investment in terms of the capacity that arts and cultural organizations could really look to in terms of an increase in people being able to participate in arts and cultural performances, experiences that center Black voices, and the practitioners and artists themselves who were given new platforms and new spaces in which to tell Black stories, that really does create the texture and the importance of San Francisco as a diverse and inclusive city. So funding directly through the arts and cultural pillar produced 126 events and performances. These are new experiences that came from DKI funding. 130, yeah, absolutely. 130 artists were hired for different experiences. Over 15,000 participants were engaged, and there was an interplay in experiences that center Black voices. There was a studio album that was produced because of DKI investment and resources. When we look at, obviously, the importance of children and youth, Black children, Black youth, Black families, and how DKI was intentional about serving and centering these, our Black youth and Black families, brighter futures, and the performance of that programming was a direct way for us to measure what's been transpiring. Over 1,000 youth and families were touched, were helped, were supported because of DKI. These services are working to reverse the generational neglect and inequity of Black youth and families in specific areas. And these specific areas are education, physical and mental health, leadership and career development, financial resourcing and ingenuity, entrepreneurship, community building, and housing. So in these specific areas, DKI has had measurable impact for over 1,000 youth and children and families because of their DKI's resources. Regarding economic mobility, DKI has created significant impact over a wide range of areas as well. Black entrepreneurship, Black wealth creation is something that needs to be central to how the overall Black diverse population in San Francisco experiences upliftment and inclusiveness. Over 201 businesses have been launched because of DKI. Two 200 businesses have received technical assistance and training. 34 new storefronts have been either opened, including 17 new businesses in the Black marketplace. The early educator pipeline has been increased to 9 new childcare licenses, and 22 are in the pipeline because of DKI. When we look at health and wellness, another important pillar, hundreds of families have been supported from the Dreamkeeper Initiative in the form of chronic and physical mental health assistance, preventative care, important referrals that otherwise would not happen, case management services, and increased access to health care that youth and families otherwise would not have been receiving, but for Dreamkeeper Initiative. Certainly last but not least, Black home ownership, which we've been talking about earlier today. Which April Ryan so eloquently was, I really appreciated her emphasis on it. But Black home ownership is becoming more of a reality because of the Dreamkeeper Initiative. 22 diverse Black families have been successfully purchased their homes because of the Dreamkeeper Initiative. 3 additional Black families are in the process. 4 senior homeowners have received assistance with repairs on their homes. So it's, this is significant that home ownership is, these are measurable results because of this initiative and such an important economic mobility factor, home ownership. Mini grants. In regards to mini grants, over $500,000 in mini grants have been focused on community innovations as a result of DKI. These grassroots Black Black-led organizations and civic-minded community members are centering their work in creating and driving events, driving services and products because of this mini grant program that has been created and produced by Dreamkeeper Initiative. So one quote that came from a leader in one of the organizations was that unlike other programs, the mini grant program was unapologetically Black, uplifted the community, and trusted the community leaders. So I'm gonna leave with that and turn it over to my colleague, Jose.
Thank you, Derrick. Thank you, Dr. Nunley and Dr. Luckey. All right, so my goal here is to share with you the data about government change that's been happening as a part of this program. I'm going to show you the data. It's to Dr. Davis's point today, without the data, sometimes people don't believe us. And so it's really important for us to center this really important data that we're seeing. What you're going to see, you don't see often, which is that this data is really spectacular and tells a story of a program and an initiative that has been delivered with love. Data like this is not possible without that. And the other piece of this is that what you'll see from this is that this is not only a substantial operation to move money into Black communities and to restore trust with Black-led and Black-serving organizations, it's also a campaign inside of government to transform the systems of how government partners with those leaders to address the issues in the Black community. And that is a form of reparations to repair the system that we don't always talk about, but is as important as any other part of this. So I'll tell you what we're looking at in the data. One, that there's an ongoing real community accountability and partnership that from conception to implementation, this program has actually been responsive to the community needs and the community desires that uplifted what this program was shaped into 2 years ago. 96% of grantees responded, and 100% of city employees that have been enmeshed in this program, that it is important that these programs were delivered in response to community needs. The second finding, that DKI programs provide dedicated funding that is reparative and proactive. That this is not just about, that these programs are really addressing unmet needs, long-standing needs, but also proactive about making sure that it is about building a better future for Black San Franciscans. 100% of the Black-led and Black-serving organizations that participated in this program attest that this program is addressing long unmet needs and underinvestment in San Francisco's Black communities. A number like that is not possible without love, without a program that has been really shaped and delivered with love. This third finding, city employees are making an effort to disperse this funding in a way that is done with trust to the Black-led and Black-serving organizations that it is meant to support. The interviews with city employees, we've heard from in conversations that this is really changing the way in which those departments that are involved in this program are really interrogating why is it so hard to partner and to contract with Black-led and Black-serving organizations, and removing barriers left and right to make these programs and those leaders feel resourced and supported by city government in a way that other departments in city government can learn from today. The fourth finding, that bolder investment is needed to really address the scope of the issues and the challenges for Black San Franciscans. There is resounding agreement that this has met needs, and yet the needs are vast, and that bolder investments are needed. And that's really clear from the city employees to the Black-led and Black-serving organizations that are part of this program, resounding agreement that this is the moment to actually make those investments bolder. And that is a call to action to all of you to hold your leaders in city city government accountable to deepen the investments that are already proving so promising from the first 2 years of this program.
Yes.
One amazing statistic that I don't see here, but it really is about building Black opportunity, is that nearly 30% of the organizations that were supported by this program were organizations that had never engaged with city governments.
Yes.
And there are many more organizations and community leaders that are not supported by city government, but we've started to understand what it means to try to move money into those community organizations and community leaders, and it is really transforming the ways in which city government staff are seeing themselves as enablers of these community leaders, grassroots leaders that had never been involved. So we're learning a lot from a third of those grantees being entirely new to city government contracting. And that's a big deal. And this is the last point here, which is that this program has the potential to influence other government practices, right? It has the potential to be a beacon of ideas, of learning for the rest of the agencies that San Francisco, that engage and that are supposed to be serving Black San Franciscans. There's so much to learn from this initiative, how every metric is above 90%. That took a lot of hard work, and it's really an important time. And that this, from looking around the country, because we work in cities around the country, there is a lot that San Francisco can teach to the rest of the country about what it means to operationalize not a racial equity action plan, but racial equity action, in the words of Dr. Davis. There's a lot of recommendations that we have and that have come from this research. Sarah, can you walk us through this really quickly so that we can just pass it to the Jumuiya Research Institute? Thank you.
So in addition to trying to document the progress and impact of DKI in its first 2 years, we also came up with 8 recommendations to strengthen and sustain this initiative in the years to come. Super quickly, in the future, we hope that DKI will prioritize investments that actually lead to family-sustaining wages for the people who are implementing this work. Second, we think that DKI has already laid a pretty phenomenal groundwork for promoting economic rights for all, and we would love to see bolder investment in guaranteed income, home ownership, and entrepreneurship. In order to make sure that DKI is not just, is really leveraging the opportunity and the investment that is happening within DKI and pushing those practices to the rest of government and informing how the rest of government treats the communities that it has marginalized. We'd like to see deeper community among city employees. HRC already has started this work, and we know that other city employees are hungry for more. We'd like to see confidential support for the employees who are implementing this work, because change making is hard. And I know that those city employees are often marginalized within their own departments, and we should support them. We'd like to see trust-based, consistent, and simplified data and impact reporting across all DKI grantees and across all city agencies that are responsible for the DKI initiative. We'd like to see a unified set of 10-year impact goals that help to reinforce community and government commitment across the departments that are implementing DKI programs. And then to make sure that DKI continues to inform how the rest of city government works. We'd love to see the city leverage departmental racial equity plans to encourage departments to absorb programs and approaches that have been incubated within DKI and make them the regular course of business within city government. And we also would love to see the city develop and deliver a skills building series on anti-racist local government practices for all programmatic procurement and grantee support staff within the city. The city employees who've been implementing DKI have really been developing some new ways for government to treat the communities that it has marginalized, and we'd love to see those expanded in the next year. Thank you so much for welcoming us onto this stage.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And this is how the clicker, how it moves.
Yeah, that big button, that's how.
Where y'all going?
We're gonna get y'all to stay.
Y'all can still stay.
Y'all can stay. Yeah. Yeah, because we may need you to do the clicker. Because it look,
Oh, you know what? Yeah, if you can do that, I'll do that.
yeah, do the clicker.
Okay. So. See, yeah. Okay, so.
I'm going back.
Go back. Okay, so I'm gonna, permission to speak?
Permission to speak.
Okay, that's the elder. Okay, so
And the
now.
elder.
You need the mic. Oh, I'm sorry. So I just asked for permission to speak, because that's my elder. I'm an elder, but I'm a junior elder. And so our role was this, that all of this numbers and all that stuff, y'all, right? You need that so they can give you some money. But there's stories, there's stuff behind the numbers, right? But I want to back it way, way up. Do we even understand this research thing? So this is what this is about. Okay, so we were charged with conducting virtual focus groups using an Africana studies approach. And that's the director of the Jumuiya Research Institute, Dr. Coates. Hey, hey, wave at the people. There she go. All right. So we are Africans not because we are born in Africa, but because Africa is born in us. Now, y'all remember that, because we're going to come back to this, and it's going to make a little more sense. Next, please. Thank you. Okay, I already asked for permission. Thank you. And now we give thanks to our family ancestors. Next, please. And we have to acknowledge the land of the Mwekma people. Check them out, y'all. See how they look? Okay. Note that. Okay, so we live and walk in this land as our ancestors before us who traveled here before Columbus. Okay. Next, please. Now, we do so with humility and pride because historian living ancestor Dr. John Henry Clark, AKA the bad boy of the academy, this is what he reminded us of. Africans journeyed far beyond Africa and merged their cultures, languages, and technical know-how with others without ever declaring a war against any group.
Remember that.
Yeah, now think about that, okay? So, go back, please. Africans left Africa with their humanity intact and respected the humanity of all other people in their journey abroad. So we didn't roll all over the world trying to conquer the world, okay? Next, please, thank you. So, Sa'ubona, which is isiZulu for we see you. I said we. Now, it's just me and Dr. Luckey, but no, not really. It is our ancestors behind us. It is us, me right here, Dr. Luckey right here, and it's the future, okay? So when we say Sa'ubona, your response is Yabo Sa'ubona, because you telling me your ancestors, you, and those that come after you, see us too. So here we go. Sa'ubona. Look at y'all speaking EC Zulu. Go on, y'all. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, so guess what? Me and Dr. Luckey, we were not supposed to be on this stage. The ones who were supposed to be here is our students. But guess what? Serena, she had to work today. Remy down in LA, she had a dental appointment. And Tariq had stuff to do. So this was not supposed to be us. It was supposed to be them. So we work with this group of students on a biofeedback project, and that's why we know them well, and it was easy to work with them. Next slide, please. So this presentation is in honor of our amazing JEGNEs who became student SESH. Next slide. So Dr. Luckey and I, we are the JEGNots. And that means, and we're the principal investigators of the JEGNEs. Elder Sage, Elder Warrior, okay? So, Dr. Luckey, Dr. Nunley. So this is Serena. She is born and raised in San Francisco, okay? Got 2 children, a boy and a girl, right? And she's the Community Development Equity Officer for San Francisco Unified School District. Hey, Serena, okay? So give her a shout, clap her up. She's not here, but clap her up. Okay, next, please. And then we got Tyreek Milner. He's a psychology major. He a transplant to San Francisco. He came from hot Atlanta, and he's an Army veteran, okay? And next, and then we got our African living in Black San Francisco diaspora. She was raised in the UK. She that Black Brit, you know, with that British accent. Y'all be like, oh, how you that dark? You speak like that. That's her, okay? And so she's an artist. And so let me explain what JEGNA is. So JEGNA, the goal of JEGNAship is to provide opportunities for the younger generation, our students, community members, and young professionals to connect with trusted elders, me and Dr. Luckey. So they are JEGNas, right? And we are JEGNots. Now, we don't use mentor and mentor because check out the reason why. That's some Greek stuff that we don't do that. So I think it's on you now.
Is it on me?
I think it is.
Am I on?
Oh, you know what? That was all on you.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
It's all right. You know, it's okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Or am I?
Here, switch. Do this.
Hello?
Okay, they got you.
Okay. Our student sesh demonstrated the 5 C's of being a JEGNA. They expressed confidence. They were competent in how they helped to roll out the focus group process. They were conscientious. They had conscientiousness because they were aware of what was going on around them. They were committed to this project. It took hours and hours of work and meetings, but these 3 JEGNas were committed to making sure that we rolled out this focus group in the right way. Because, you know, this wasn't something that came easy. You know, the mayor's office said, we want you all to do this Jumuiya research. And so we had to make sure that our JEGNas were committed, and they were. They contributed, once again, hours and hours of their time. And not only that, but these 3 young people were on top of it. They came up with ideas and telling us, no, we don't want you to do it like that. And I'm like, oh, you telling me that? But they were on top of it. They were aware, like I said, they had their ears to the community. So they knew what the community needed in focus group processes. Next, please.
Oh, wait, we're supposed to do this one together.
Okay. Here we go.
Come, 1, 2.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
They are what our ancestors fought and died for.
We are grateful for the opportunity to be their JEGNots.
All right. Next slide. So, the Black community in research, problematic history, serious, and it continues. And so I could talk about the Monahan study, all kind of different stuff, but we know research ain't been kind to us. Next slide, please. So the reason that African Americans do not participate in research, distrust, lack of understanding of the informed consent and the research process, right? Insufficient recruitment. You ain't getting everybody. Why don't you go get Ray and them, the real folk, right? Okay? And then stigma. Whoa, I'm talking to them white people. Hold the phone, what's up? Snitch, right? Okay? So stigma when you do it. And then financial trap. What, I'm no longer enslaved? I got to do this for free? Oh, but then sometimes I shouldn't be doing it because I'm just trying to get some money. So that's a challenge too. Because then when that happens, you're messing up the data. Oh, but you got to eat. Oh, I'm Black, I understand. Okay. Next slide. The Black community matters. Next slide, please. Okay, so methodology also matters. So methods allows the researcher to collect data, but methodologies combines methods with paradigms, assumptions, theories, concepts, and ideals that give life, interpretation, and meaning to the data. So in other words, the method you use will tell you what's really up, okay? It's the story behind the numbers. So why an Africana studies approach matters? For oppressed people and their descendants, it is important that the intellectual tools guiding the relationship between them and who or what they study is culturally relevant and emancipatory. You ain't supposed to just get paid and run up out of my community, right? You're supposed to give me, and don't try to empower me. Do not. Because you know why? I give you the power, I could take it away. Give me agency. Teach me how to fish, right? Don't give me no fish. So that's important. So methods are, I typed that wrong, to collect data, Okay, basically, next slide. This is McDougall's book. Here it is right here. Okay, this is the book we use. So what we said we was gonna do, we made sure that we were coming from, that we were coming from an Africana studies perspective, right? Because we did not start enslaved here. So we had to go way back, okay? So, next please, thank you. So we used an Afrocentric paradigm. So I'm not gonna read all of that stuff, but basically, we thought about this in a way that free Black people, pre-colonial, before anybody came raiding the place, right? Looting us, human trafficking us. So we needed to go all the way back there, okay? So we used an Afrocentric paradigm. Next slide, please. So we used a worldview paradigm. There are actually two worldviews. There's a European and there's an African, and get ready, y'all gonna get up and learn about that, okay? And so there's 4 components: epistemology, axiology, ontology, oncology, cosmology, ontology. Wait. Epistemology, axiology, ontology, and cosmology. And you will learn how to do those things. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is a real important quote by Dr. Chancellor Williams. He was blind, but he could see this. Africans and persons of African descent must assume the primary responsibility and leadership in historical research. If we are to continue to leave practically all important historical research and writing concerning the Black race to the white man, then we must be prepared to accept uncomplainingly the white man's point of view. So, what has happened to us as a people? Something called menticide. Now, my Native American people, genocide, us menticide. They tried to destroy our mind and our culture. So that's a new vocabulary word, menticide. That's what they did to Black people. Tried to do genocide, didn't work, menticide. Okay, so, and there's also something called epistemological racism. And that's what happens when white men control Western structures of knowledge validation, when they tell you what the truth is. Next slide. And so, there are strategies for increasing African-American participation. These are the different things. We just gonna keep moving, right? Because y'all can have my slide, okay? So these are the mistakes that they make when they do research on us. Scientific colonialism. Okay, y'all don't understand me. Okay, so transubstantive error. So that's when it's like you think you understand me and you really don't. And then there's a whole bunch of different things. A real important one there is ethological historism. That means I have no history. We got history. And it started before they stole us, okay? Next slide, please. This one, okay, I'm gonna read this slow. Let's see. No, you know what? I want somebody, we tired of my voice. Can you read this one?
Me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and read it. Everybody listen to this. Listen to it and go with them, okay? Because this is really important.
Researchers have to understand the reality and the culture of the participating population. For example, asking a question as simple as, do you put your kids to bed, will mean different things to different people, and may mean something totally different to you now than when you were younger. Growing up, my mom told me to put my butt to bed, and that's what I did. If she were asked that question back then, she might say no. But the reality is, she did put me to bed because she was home caring for her family, making sure we were fed, bathed, and not in the bed. She would probably answer no, because the generalized version is putting your kids to bed, reading to them until they fall asleep, and turning off the light. Researchers have to understand these many nuances to truly assess the population.
You understand how different that is? Okay, so they told me got 7 minutes. Up. Get everybody up. Get up. If you can. Okay. So now, remember we talked about an African worldview? So we're going to do some kinesthetic stuff. So let's make the world. So world, that's the world, okay? Everybody has a world view. All right? Everybody got a world view, right? And so no matter who you are. And so now, you're going to touch your brain and feel like you're thinking, but point your pistol down, don't point at nobody, right? The first one is epistemology. Got it? Now put your hand out and act like this is an axiology. Okay, now we gonna jump, okay? Ready? Ontology. Y'all got it. And cosmology. Hey, y'all got it. So the 4 components of a worldview are what? What's the first one? Epistemology, axiology, ontology, and cosmology. Y'all got it. So everybody has a worldview, right? And so the African worldview, ours is different, right? So I need you to like Wakanda up right now. Right? Okay, everybody up. My brother, you know, I'm old, right here. The old black people looking who ain't doing it. Okay. All right, so now we go. Not one, but 2 worlds. Let's do it again. Not one, but 2 worlds. The visible and the invisible. Now watch this, y'all. This is us. Each person is connected. Right? So from the beginning, we can remember? From the beginning. So not one, but 2 worlds. The visible and the invisible. Each person is connected. What we connected to a single energy source. Move that, come on. Come on. We got energy. So black people, we energy beings, y'all. Come on. White people like you, they just forgot. Because of that energy, now check out what I'm going to do. It allows us to be in the past, the present, and the future. All at the same time. Y'all got it? Yeah. So for us, our worldview is different. It's a visible and an invisible, and we're connected, right? And we're energy beings. Everybody got that? Yeah. All right, last thing, and y'all can sit down. Okay, so when we did this African way of looking at things, we had to do a Sankofa thing. Sankofas go back. So here you go. So stand up, and now you want to reach all the way back, reach back and grab some stuff. Come on, bring it forward. You got it? Got it? Okay. Other side, reach back. Bring it forward. Now you got your African stuff, right? But okay, so now I need you to take and lift it up. Lift it up to something higher than you. Let it go, because we don't want no junk stuff, right? Let it go. And then we're going to pray that we get back the good stuff. So now, open up your hand to get the good stuff, right? Yeah. Now, close it. And now, bring it down to you. Touch your elbows. Sankofa! And see, let me tell you how people steal stuff. When they be doing this, they ain't got it all. Y'all see that everywhere, right? Sankofa. Sankofa. Yeah. So you go back and get the stuff from the past, you bring it forward. That's what you use. Because I ain't trying to be naked. I mean, you know. Right. So everybody, so we sit down so you can see what our students did. Okay. You have to advance really far, because we want to show you the slides our students created.
Where am I? Here?
No, way down.
Way down. Go.
Here?
Yeah, we were real over prepared.
Yeah, we were like real thorough. Okay.
Yeah, no, keep going.
Keep going.
Keep
Because
going.
remember, the researchers were Sesh. We used the divine tongue to Hootie, right? We have African logic. We're connected. So African beings. Da da da. Keep going. That wait. Go back. See the Sankofa sign? See that? That's the symbol, the Indikra symbol, and then the bird. See, the bird is reaching back, getting the egg, pulling forward. Okay, keep going. Now I think, okay. There, you got Dr. Way.
You want me to do this? Okay, what we did was, once again, working with our students, the students that we introduced you to, Remy, Serena, and Tariq. You know, this is being cut off down here. I guess I should have set up a little.
You could just click.
Anyway, our students were able to craft the grantee invitation, because we had to invite the grantees into the focus groups. So our students, our JEGNAs, were able to craft the greeting for the. They also crafted the community invitation. Then what they did was they crafted the protocols for the Zoom focus groups. They had a welcome. And once again, we were in collaboration with HR&A as well as DKI. And we always wanted to give thanks to our African ancestors. And one of our JEGNAs created this slide for us, absolutely beautiful. Actually, they all created all the slides. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get you.
Okay, to the good part. Okay, this is the research that we did, once again in collaboration. We were invited to the city of San Francisco that asked us to help them understand how this initiative impacted the lives of Black San Franciscans. Okay, and this is what we presented to the focus group attendees, what we wanted to know. And then they also crafted the protocols once again before we got started on the questions. We had a little icebreaker that connected them to San Francisco, where we would be able to collect some information about who was in the room. There were 6 questions, and these were the 6 questions. Move along. Mm-hmm.
You can just keep going.
Mm-hmm. How did they become? And, it was all about their interaction related to being given the grants. But they were in the room being able to tell us as though they were at a kitchen table being served. They were very comfortable. And we did allow our JEGNAs to ask the questions, to collect the information. And once again, they were able to engage each and every participant that was in the room, in the Zoom room. And even when someone appeared to not want to contribute to the question, our JEGNAs were crafty enough to say, we didn't hear from you, so-and-so. What do you have to say about your interaction with the grant? Then, even at the last moment, if someone else had something they wanted to add, we asked them for final remarks. Dr. Nunley and I just sat back and allowed our JEGNAs to facilitate the process. And at the end, we gave thanks to our partners who helped us with this process.
And then, of course, again, we had to give honor to our Queen Khalifa. Y'all know California was named after her, right? And again, we came before Columbus. So we were training them to be SESH researchers and power to my people. So they're supposed to work for the future, right? Not just for their own personal gain. Next slide, please. And we want them to speak to prosperity, because we come back to San Francisco. And we're doing it different this time, okay? And so we want to end with Nomo word medicine from our Jegna sesh. Dr. Luckey.
All right.
So next, go ahead.
The invited guest.
Go social.
The invited guest. I got an invitation to join them for a meal. Just an invitation without any details. Don't know what's on the menu or if I need to bring a dish, pasta, a salad, or maybe even fish. Then came a follow-up to a focus group. What is that? Will I be served soup? All right, you gotta follow along. Much to my surprise, the researchers were comprised of Jegnas and Jegnees who knew how to serve me. They knew that sitting at the table was more than going through the research motions, but touching all domains: cognitive, physical, behavioral, and emotions. Africana research based in inclusivity and cosmology, with everything interconnected. Ubuntu, the collected voice of I am, because we are, therefore I am. They knew how to engage my spirit, the soul of the invited guest. Honoring my personhood as a familyhood in the neighborhood of the invited guest. Only they could sculpt the selections for the feast. Fill our stories, comprehend and embrace the inspiring spices and flavors of authenticity that stimulate, captivate, and illuminate. African people are not the observers. We are the experience with no empty space, no assumptions or generalizations. Time and commitment are the ingredients that must be on the shopping list, along with Black Jegnas and Jegnees that respond to the participants, not to promote, exploit, or entertain, but to give agency and in trade. Not mentors or mentees, but Jegnas and Jegnees. We are Black San Franciscans filled with diversity, not for entertainment, but entrainment. When you set the menu with the first, second, or triangulated course, a full meal and not table scraps, please remember how to serve the invited guest.
And so, on behalf of our Jegni Research Sesh, Remy, Tariq, and Serena, we say Giyabonga, which means thank you, and we say Salakashe, which means remain well.